Hey everyone, Megan Olivi, Brett Okamoto. We are inside the T-Mobile Arena. The event has wrapped up, but man, there's a lot to talk about here.
It's a weird night in 2022.
It ended real weird.
Yeah.
Last pay-per-view of the year, and of course, nothing settled. We had our main event, and a lot of people were shocked by the draw. How did you score this main event, first off?
I had it 48-46 for Ankalaev. I had it the same as Derek Cleary. I believe he was the one who had it. I thought it was pretty clear. I mean, once Ankalaev started wrestling, it was his fight, and then it was really his fight in the fifth round. I did score that at 10-8. It was pretty dominant. So 48-46, there you go. What's wild about this is that if Sal Diamano hadn't scored the fifth round at 10-8, Jan Blachowicz is the champion.
Yeah,
I mean,
or not that 10-9 in the third round for Ankalaev.
Yeah.
He was the only judge that gave it to him.
Yeah, I didn't think it was that hard of a fight to score, but apparently, I mean, there were three judges and we got three different scores, so apparently it was, Megan.
It was a weird night of scoring. In terms of what we saw, though, in the main event, is that what you expected from Jan versus Ankalaev?
I'm not really sure what I expected, to be honest.
Yeah.
I did kind of give... I leaned toward Ankalaev before the fight started. I mean, for obvious reasons, this guy's been just a puzzle to solve, and Jan... but I gave Jan a real shot, because Jan is smart. He's been an underdog so many times before.
Yeah.
He comes and he hits really hard. I didn't know he kicked that hard, and
my
he kicked
God.
very, very hard. And obviously, that compromised Ankalaev right from the get-go. But I come away from this fight, quite frankly, even more impressed with Ankalaev. I thought he ended up beating Jan Blachowicz for the championship on one leg, which is pretty darn impressive. So
for sure.
I am super impressed with Ankalaev. I don't know how to answer if that was the fight I expected, but I definitely thought that Ankalaev won and asserted himself as the better light heavyweight tonight.
So I spoke with both men just a couple of minutes ago, and Jan was saying, I want to have the rematch. I believe that we should be doing it. I want to do it in March. Like, he already had a timetable. Sort of pivoted from what he said inside the octagon. He's like, you know what? I can't make any rash decisions. I think I need to watch it back before I say whether I won or lost. Ankalaev was just so disheartened, so upset about the loss. But I also saw Glover Teixeira, and I asked Glover what he thought, and he said, well, it wasn't a Glover Teixeira fight, like kind of joking that his fights are a little bit more exciting.
Yeah.
And he said, I believe I'll end up fighting Ankalaev. I mean, I think everybody thought he won, and I think I'll end up fighting him. Hard left turn.
Yeah.
10 minutes
5
later.
minutes later, that was different. Yeah,
we need that little, the SpongeBob meme that they put out 5 minutes later. Dana White says, just kidding, in January, because the title's still vacant, it's Glover versus Jamal Hill.
That is what makes the sport so crazy, is that it's beholden to a schedule a little bit, Megan. I mean, the reason that Glover Teixeira didn't get his title fight tonight was because of schedule. It's like, hey, Glover, we want to give you the title fight, but no, you can't have it in January because we need a title fight in December. Now they kind of need a title fight in January. They had announced earlier that it was going to be Figueiredo and Moreno headlining the card. I don't think the UFC really wanted that. That's a fantastic fight, but you want to beef up the card a little bit. So I think the UFC was feeling a little bit of pressure to make an addition to that card. So the UFC did what the UFC does. They scramble in a lot of ways to answer the necessities of what they have on their schedule. And so now you have Glover Teixeira in a really interesting fight against Jamal Hill, because Jamal Hill was scheduled to fight Anthony Smith, but not until a few months later. Yeah. So now that really accelerates his time frame to get ready. Jamal Hill is a guy who likes to enjoy himself between fights. This is wild. There's a lot of stuff to go through here, and there's a lot of fallout from what happened, starting with Yuri Prohaska's shoulder, exactly. And we have a disappointed then Ankalaev, Jan Blachowicz, and Anthony Smith, who found out on the desk. Found out on live television that he had lost his fight.
Sort of a lot of pivoting here, because what the heck do all these people do now at this point? So remains to be
Welcome
seen.
to MMA, guys.
Yeah.
This is what happens in this sport. Yeah.
What happens at light heavyweight? I don't even know how to make a sentence that makes sense at this point, because it's all so wild. But we're going to talk about judging, so might as well talk about the co-main event, because Paddy, very confident that he won, said there was nothing close about it. But the internet and all the scorecards that MMA media submit were all for Jared Gordon.
I haven't talked to a single person that thought Paddy won this fight. When they said 29-28, before they said who it was for, I was pretty dead certain that they were going to say it for Jared Gordon. I feel really bad for Jared Gordon. This was an opportunity for him. He's been in the sport for a long time. Gets his opportunity to fight a guy in a big profile spot. I thought he fought well, thought he fought the correct fight, and the judges didn't go his way. I mean, that's just part of judging. I think I think that Paddy is. There's nothing. I mean, Paddy didn't do anything wrong.
Sure,
about
exactly,
this.
exactly. We have
but
to
I do
know
think
that.
I do think that there's going to be some scrutiny and some pressure on him to perform a lot better because I think people are going to treat this like he came off a loss.
Do you believe, when you're sitting by the octagon and you're hearing the crowd, do you believe that influences at this point in this stage the judges? Because for it to be so clear for certain people watching this fight, very educated people watching this fight, and then the three around the octagon score it completely opposite. What could possibly propel that?
I don't know, Megan, because sometimes like when you're watching a fight in person, then you watch it on television, that makes a big difference. But there were people who watched it live, like myself, like everybody else on press row with me. Again, I didn't talk to a single person who thought Paddy won.
Yeah.
And it's not that Paddy performed really poorly. Like the first 2 rounds were at least competitive, but I thought it was pretty clear that Jared Gordon won the fight. Everyone else thought it was pretty clear. So for all three to say, and they didn't score it all the same way. There was differences in how they got to the result of Paddy winning the fight, but odd that those three were the only ones, and that's never happened. I mean, I think Twitter is very quick to talk about robbery in this sport, but this is one where it was crystal clear that literally the only 3 people that thought they won the fight, I'll say 4, the 3 judges and Paddy were very clear that he won this fight. I didn't think he did.
Well, listen, confidence is always running high for him, and rightfully so. That's half of what the sport is, being able to believe in yourself and propel yourself to victory. But I just want to commend Jared Gordon because he is coming up on 7 years sober. And no matter what happens inside the octagon, the battles that he has been through outside of it,
big congratulations
far supersede anything he'll ever see in terms of a regulated fist fight. So congratulations to Jared Gordon on 7 years of sobriety coming up in just a couple of weeks. Brett, I'm putting you on the spot because we didn't talk about this, but do you have a favorite 2022 MMA moment, or is there a certain thing you're looking forward to in 2023?
Ooh, that is tough right off the top of my head.
I know, sorry.
I will say the first thing that comes to my head just in terms of something that I remember, it was Leon Edwards' kick. Just because it was like me sitting there literally yelling, oh my God, oh my God, oh my God. You know, actually the Michael Chandler knockout did that to me as well. So I guess I'll go with those two because those are the 2 moments that I was just like, jaw dropped, just repeating myself over and over again. I can't believe that just happened. I can't believe that just happened. Those were the 2, and they were both about equal in how I reacted to them. How about you?
Honestly, the first thing that came to my mind when I asked you the question that we did not plan was actually the card at Madison Square Garden. Mm-hmm. There's just, for me especially, you know, growing up going there, it's just something about the ghosts in that building that bring out the best in our athletes. The crowd was something really, really special, and I think when we get to work and do cool things within our roles as well, it sort of heightens our memories for that event. So I think that is what stays in my mind, and because that Dustin Poirier-Michael Chandler fight. So Michael Chandler's in, I guess, both of our 2022 highlights. But
yeah, MSG is always tough to beat.
It is. 2023, do you want to see anything happen in this sport? Is there a fight you're looking forward to, a place you want to go, or
I would
just
like to see Jon Jones fight at heavyweight. I've only been waiting for it since like 2012. So yeah, Jon Jones, if you want to get in the octagon as a heavyweight, that would be awesome. I would like to see it.
I echo that sentiment wholeheartedly. Well, Brett, this is always so fun. Honestly, getting to do these with you at the end of every pay-per-view is part of my highlight, so thank you. Genuinely mean it. To everybody at ESPN who makes all of this happen, thank you guys so much. Congratulations on winning Media Source of the Year. So well-deserved. You all deserve a trophy. But for Brett Okamoto, I'm Megan Olivi, and we'll see you next year.
Thank you for watching ESPN on YouTube. For live streaming sports and premium content, subscribe to ESPN+.